It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while and just smile. Just taking some clean, fresh air.
And welcome back to Game 2 of EpsilonSeb versus Seph. So in the first game we had a crash by Seph, and that's why he actually lost that match. So this is going to be the second game of them versing each other. However, that means one victory has gone to Seb. So now we have Seb playing as the Wehrmacht this time around, and Seph is playing as the Brits, and we are going to be playing on Longra 1v1. Okay, Ryan, you ready to get this on the road?
Sure am.
Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, here we go. So after all that unlucky stuff that happened in the first round, very unfortunate. I was really looking forward to what Seb was going to bring out with all the infantry half tracks and all this weird combination of units. It actually made sense what he was doing. However, I've never seen anyone use that combination of units before. Great thing about Seb is that he actually in many games goes into it without even having a plan. Quite contrary to what a lot of other people do, and just comes down to experience. So what is going on, Ryan?
Well, we have the recon squad coming out, hopping on the munitions here in the center of the map. We've got an LT running over for the fuel over here, and the HQ truck packing up and moving. This is a little contrary to what Seph did on Semois. It's kind of an interesting take on it. We saw him really effectively counter a 5 Pio Tier 2. It looks like from Seb we're getting 4 Pio Tier 1.
I was about to say, because I saw so many Pioneers out, I was thinking that this might be just the exact same strategy as the last one, but he's going to be going for Pioneers this time. So very interesting. So 4 Pioneers, wow. We usually see 2 Pioneers at most, but this means that there's going to be more capping power, just exactly like the same game as last time. More capping power, more chances to repair armor in the late game. Obviously, if you're playing against the Brits and they have some placements down, you can have the flamethrowers out, and that's going to help a lot. Any other sort of tactical options we might see from having 4 Pioneers out?
Well, you see these 2 Pios actually moving up towards the British HQ. You get a Tommy squad that's about 65% built there. So he's probably going to run up, get into this house, and probably delay those the Tommies from really being able to get out onto the field effectively, because they're going to be moving slower. The recon squad up here is going to exchange volleys. Well, not exchange volleys. They're going to start shooting the Pios because the Pios don't have enough range to shoot back. And that's not going to work out very well for those Pios, so they're going to hop out of that house and quit getting shot at by 2 squads. Capping this fuel sector delays the British ability to get that fuel, and that's one of the things that they depend on. Having the Pios out over here near the cutoff point, though, this LT is actually losing one-on-one with the Pio, and then you've got an MG rolling up on the HQ. That's bad news.
No! No, oh no, God, it's gone. Oh man, this is absolutely horrible. I was just absolutely in suspense there. Just because the Pioneers managed to heavily damage that lieutenant, and then the MG coming out of nowhere, placing itself down right on the front of that headquarters command truck. So well done to Seb against Seph there. Seph is in quite an awkward position now, considering, let's see, could you actually tell me, Ryan, what kind of infantry do we have on the field from Seph?
We have two recon squads and a third Tommy just appearing on the field.
Oh, okay.
And that's it with the loss of the LT. That bike in combination with that MG going to be pushing those Tommies out, keeping them from getting around that MG. So Seph's going to be forced to kind of deal with that MG the hard way.
This is actually really funny because that lieutenant being taken out, obviously the bonuses are always going to help for your infantry, but now the fact is he needs to build another lieutenant, or he needs to upgrade all of his squads of recons in order to move into enemy territory at a normal pace. but I absolutely love what Seb is doing. He's just being so harassive against Seph, and he's just forcing him to fight him and take on his MG in that. So he's just being so aggressive. We got the Flame Pioneers taking on the recon squad in the house, forcing them out and then repositioning themselves inside the house. He's also putting the Volksgrenadier inside there just because if the recon squad wanted to use their sniping ability on them, there's a chance that it might only hit the Volksgrenadiers instead of the Pioneers in there.
Yeah, and fighting in that position, obviously he's going to have to move back a little bit. That's going to put his Volks in a better position. He did end up chasing off the MG and the bike, although with the Pyos being out there, they appear to be kind of idle right now, but nope, there we go, now repairing the bike.
Oh no, they are getting near the HQ. The Pioneers have a very insane flame distance. As we can see, there's some flames going off, but now they cannot reach it. What else is going on? Wow, Seb doesn't even look like he's gone for T2 yet. He's actually going to be getting out a sniper. He obviously realizes that he's delayed Seph so much that he doesn't even have to worry about it. There's some engagements happening down here with the motorcycle doing a bit of wheelies around the recon squad. However, the MG has to get away now, and the motorcycle has to get away from there as well.
Yeah, and you have to really. This is something I've seen in a couple of the games here recently against Brits, is by putting their HQ truck near to that wooden house, they actually do quite a bit of damage to their own position, because as you can see there, the recon squad that's retreating can get flamed in the process. And so I think I might actually move towards moving that HQ truck maybe a little over to the left in the future if we're going to see a lot of these high-level players jumping into this house.
It's something to keep note for Longra, especially. We have that sniper on the field, which is taking shot by shot on the recon squads. Obviously, gonna have to be quite careful now. Wow, that motorcycle is spinning out of control and losing its side carriage. The sniper is retreating a bit, falling back into the trap maneuver of the MG. But the sniper could be in a very big risk of being sniped. No, he is gonna camo instead. So, do we see anything coming out of the field support truck?
We have the captain out, which means that you'd expect to see a Stewart coming up next. He may choose to reinforce his troops before he tries to bring out that Stewart, though.
And
nope, I was wrong.
Ooh.
Stewart first.
Okay. We have Blitzkrieg chosen by Seb, so this is the thing, he's not even going to go for T2 at all, and instead he's going to be going for Stormtroopers with the Panzerschrecks, obviously realizing that Stewart is likely to be coming out soon, and hence those Panzerschrecks. I believe, what could he be doing? If he's going to be a smart player, I think he should actually go for the field support truck and start harassing it, but that's just my opinion. Maybe he's going to do something else, though.
You have to be careful of kind of tipping your hand towards having those. Of course, Seb's just like, nah, I'm not going to be careful. Why do that? I'm running Stormtroopers up here. I'm looking at that saying that you really don't want your British enemy to know that you have Shreks on the field, but he's looking at doing some damage to the HQ truck, so you can't really blame him for that.
Oh man, if I was in Seb's position right now, I would just love to have thrown a bundled grenade on top of those, on top of the infantry section there. I mean, they were suppressed, just asking for it. They couldn't even retreat, to be honest. Would have been very good. However, Seb was actually being a bit too frontal, as you were saying, with his stormtroopers, and now he's had to retreat them, whilst a Stewart actually just managed to come onto the field.
Yeah, this recon squad cutting off this point, it really, again, didn't do all that much, and it actually looks like that three-man squad might lose these Pyos, and needs to get those out of there, especially with the sniper involved. That mine there going off, damaging the engine of the Stewart without sappers out, that's going to be a little while. He doesn't even have them building, so it's going to take him a little bit to get that Stewart back up in fighting shape. That's a perfect opportunity for Seb to go after it with Stormtroopers.
Oh, it definitely is. If we're thinking about the Stewart's going to be so vulnerable now, because one of the highlights about it is its speed. I mean, if you can't even get out of the range of the Panzerschrecks, there's pretty much no point of even having it out on the battlefield fighting, or else it's just going to get destroyed.
Yeah, we have the armored command truck actually coming up from Seph. That seems like while he's in a good fuel position, he's only got 26 fuel right now with a 28 income, so it's going to be at least another minute until we see a tank out here. I think I would have focused a little more on that field support truck.
I think so. Perhaps with the sappers and getting that Stuart repaired up, stuff like that. But we had the MG that was taken by the infantry section and was counter-sniped by the sniper. But really, Seph is actually doing a bit of a decent job at defending himself. He has that little Stuart in the back. He managed to chase away the stormtroopers and also managed to chase away the Volksgrenadiers. So he's sort of doing an alright job at defending himself at the moment, but he does need to start thinking about pushing forward.
Yeah, we have kind of an extended tier 1 to tier 3 blitz coming from Seb with some more pyos built in the beginning. 4 pyo, tier 1, tier 3 blitz from Seb. So definitely a little off of the beaten path that way, and we expect that. It's the tournament. You expect to see things that you haven't seen before.
So what kind of income do we have on Seph's part?
Seph's running 47 muni and 28 fuel right now.
Right, okay, so we've got 37 for the Wehrmacht and 32 fuel for the Wehrmacht as well. So, Seb's been doing a very good job at maintaining the map. He has most of the control, yet the Brits are actually doing quite a good job in still having a decent amount of income. What they really need now is something to start countering all the stuff that's on the field. For example, the stormtroopers. They really got thinking about I don't know, getting some tanks out. But then again, if you're gonna have the armored command truck, what can you actually get out of there? If he gets Cromwells, that's gonna be sort of iffy against the stormtroopers.
I think you'd actually have been better off, instead of bringing the armored command truck, putting up a casualty clearing station with all of the fighting going on around your base and pushing some more of the infantry game forward. I know everybody hates Brit blobs, but not having an LT out is kind of a liability at this point. And not having the veterancy, it's not uncommon to see Brit players have 2 LTs by 12 minutes into the game, and that stackable veterancy goes a long way to making the Brit infantry a lot more effective.
Right. I'm just sort of confused what the Brit could do at the moment, because I mean, he's put himself sort of in the awkward position by getting that armored command truck out. He is building something from there. Is that the Cromwell, or?
That is a Cromwell.
Right, so a Cromwell that's obviously going to be combating however effective it will be against the Stug. We'll have to see. But it is kind of an iffy thing. At least the Stuart's out on the field and did manage to get off a canister shot. So that is sort of good that I can do that. But still, the Stuart is not even repaired yet. We need sappers on the field, especially when you got the HQ command truck going down like that. You're just asking to need sappers. And by going for the armored command truck, it's probably not the appropriate thing to go for by Seph.
Did that sniper just shoot at the Cromwell?
I didn't even notice, to be honest. If we look back at the replay, I bet it probably will have.
I can't tell whether he shot it. Yeah, I shot at the recon section or the Cromwell, but it looked like the Cromwell to me.
Well, there's some funny things that happen in this game sometimes. You can actually target the Cromwell, and likewise, for example, it's sort of a funny thing, and it's not really relevant to this game, and the sniper was just going down, by the way, but it's not really relevant to this game at hand. But for example, if you have multiple snipers, they can take out a motorcycle, for example. But that's not part of this game. Anyway, back to this replay. The Cromwell is just about to go down from the Stugs, and it's just not looking good for Seph whatsoever.
No, and he's still got another 50 manpower before he can even pull his HQ truck in. He's got 2 Stugs standing there. I think, again, going back to it, I think once you recognize that he went tier 1, and then once he brought out an MG and a sniper, which means you're in a little more extended tier 1 from a British aspect, I think your best option is to get a casualty clearing station up, try and keep your damage going that way, try and get a couple of free Tommy squads, and then get yourself a couple of Brens, especially if you're expecting Blitz, and once you've seen Stormtroopers, you know it's there. Get yourself a couple of Brens so that you can button, so that your Cromwell will actually stand a chance against the incoming Stugs. Because even a Firefly against 2 Stugs, that's going to be a tough kite to really pull off.
I definitely say so. The thing is that, to be honest, Seph should have done something a bit differently in the beginning, and I think you were spot on with what you were saying. He should have done some other things as well. These Stugs, there's nothing else that Seph can do at the moment. He's lost the game, and there's nothing to counter it really.
Yeah, and he's forcing Seb to just kind of play it through, which is fine. It gives you an opportunity to sit there and think about it and be disappointed.
I suppose so. The thing is, Seph is obviously a very good player, but he probably wasn't expecting this sort of strategy, and it's just what happens with Seb. He likes this element of surprise and doing different sort of things, and when players have to face something like this, it puts them in a difficult position, because if you're not playing against the usual, something that you would expect, then, how do you counter it? You might not personally know. And so that put Seph in a very awkward position, and so this is why he's sort of losing it. But however, I do believe he could have done it a little bit differently, as you were saying with your plan of attack, your strategy, if he kept a bit longer. With the field support truck, gotten out a casualty clearing center and focused on the infantry, then he could have done a lot better with the Bren guns and stuff like that, the lieutenants working all together in unison.
Yeah, I actually think you would be better off with Piats and Bren guns and moving that way and slowly getting up to your armor, because with tier 3 Blitz you've got a little while before you're going to see a Tiger on the field, so you've got some time to prepare for that.
And the thing is, Seb brought out some Stugs, quite a few by now, 4 of them actually. And if you think about it, if Seph actually got a Sapper squad, and he got down a 17-pounder, for example, that would have done a very decent job against all these Stugs and the Stews. But it's obviously too late to be doing that now. The Sappers would definitely have helped a lot more.
Actually, an interesting thing to note, Seph, we kind of were like, oh, well, he's just kind of playing it through. He controls all 3 VPs, and has for a little while now, and he, so yes, he's stalling, but it's actually, Seph doesn't have much to get out there and get at that infantry.
He's actually just winding his headquarters command truck right around all these squads. It's just a game of tag right now.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. It's definitely cheeky, but it's fun.
Oh my god. Okay, it's going down. Well, that's playback over. Well done to Seph for hanging on in there with his headquarters command truck, however ridiculous it looked like at the end there. And also well done to Seb for just every single game we've seen out from him so far. It's just been absolutely ridiculous and something new. Seb is a very good player, all respects to him. Anything else you want to say, Ryan?
No, just congrats to Seb for moving on to the finals, and I cannot wait to see who's going to end up against him.
Now this is sort of funny, because Seb is obviously an administrator on the game replays for him. I suppose he doesn't run the competition, does he?
No, I believe most of that's actually organized by Amy in Reborn. You got Budweiser as a referee. I think NTD's involved in it heavily. There's a lot of GR staff that's involved.
Right, okay, I was just thinking that he might be winning his own money, but, that's obviously not going to happen. So Seb versus, I'm not exactly sure who else is up the ladder at the moment. So anyway, I think that's enough, right, Ryan?
Yep, that's enough for me.
Okay, so we'll call it a show then. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we will be bringing more of these game tournament replays for you guys. So see you guys shortly.